Some people say drinking fruit juice is basically the same thing as drinking soda, but is that actually true? Today we're running Coca-Cola and Tropicana orange juice through the Nutragrammatron system to see how they really compare.
What about red meat?
What about fruit?
What about fat?
What about carbs?
Run it through the lab. Welcome to the Nutragrammatron Lab, Versus Edition. Today we are doing Coca-Cola versus Tropicana orange juice. All micro and macronutrient profiles for Coca-Cola will be on left, Tropicana's will be on the right. All scores are exactly the same way. Both of these drinks are extremely common. One is a classic soda, the other comes directly from fruit. But inside the Nutragrammatron Lab, marketing doesn't matter, only the nutritional structure. So let's start with Coca-Cola. The macro balance index for Coca-Cola comes in at 7 out of 20. Per 100 grams, carbohydrates reach about 11 grams, and essentially all of it is sugar. There is no protein, no fat, and no fiber, which means nearly the entire energy profile comes from a single source. That structural imbalance keeps the macro score very low. The micronutrient density index lands at 8 out of 20. Unlike fruit juices or whole foods, Coca-Cola provides no meaningful vitamins or minerals. With essentially no micronutrient return, the microgram index remains limited. The fiber efficiency index again comes in at a 2 out of 20. Just like many sweetened beverages, Coca-Cola contains zero fiber, removing any structural buffering of the carbohydrate load. The sodium exposure index scores 15 out of 20. Sodium remains relatively low at about 12.7 milligrams per 100 grams, preventing the score from dropping further. The glycemic load impact index drops all the way to 0, with 11 grams of added sugars per 100 grams. The drink delivers a concentrated glycemic load with no structural moderation. Under the Nutragrammatron penalty structure, this collapses the glycemic score entirely. When the 5 sub-indices are combined, Coca-Cola receives a Nutragrammatron score of 32, placing it in the poor tier classification. Now let's compare that to Tropicana Pure Premium Orange Juice. At first glance, obviously both drinks contain sugar. But nutritionally, orange juice still carries compounds that come directly from fruit, and that difference becomes important in the Nutragrammatron system. The macrogram index for orange juice comes in at 8 out of 20. Carbohydrates reach about 10.8 grams, with 9.2 grams coming from sugars. There is also a small amount of protein present at 0.83 grams, which keeps the macro index score slightly higher than many sweetened beverages. The microgram index performs much stronger at 15 out of 20. Orange juice contains about 30 milligrams of vitamin C, delivering roughly 33% of the daily value. There's also about 188 milligrams of potassium, contributing additional micronutrient value. This vitamin density is the primary reason orange juice performs much better nutritionally than soda. The fibrogram index comes in at 2 out of 20. Because the juice has been separated from the fruit's pulp and structure, dietary fiber is essentially absent. Without fiber to slow carbohydrate absorption, the Nutragrammatron still limits the score in this category. The sodiogram index scores a full 20 out of 20, since sodium is essentially 0 milligrams. The glycogram index comes in at 4 out of 20. With over 9 grams of sugar, the carbohydrate load is still concentrated and rapidly absorbed. When all 5 sub-indices are combined, Tropicana Pure Premium Orange Juice receives a Nutragrammatron score of 49, also placing it 1 point shy in the poor tier classification. So when people say fruit juice is basically the same as soda, the Nutragrammatron system shows a different picture. Orange juice clearly performs better because it still carries real micronutrients from the fruit itself, especially vitamin C and potassium. Soda, by contrast, delivers sugar without meaningful nutritional return. But even though orange juice performs better than soda, it still lacks one important structural element: the fiber found in whole fruit. And that's exactly why the Nutragrammatron system consistently rewards whole foods over liquid extracts. This has been the Nutragrammatron Lab. Structured evaluation, transparent criteria, consistent analysis.
Classification complete.